What does Studio 54 and the disco era have in common with Sonoma County and the Sonoma International Film Festival? Well, the answer is our next guest, Kevin McNeely, director of the festival. How are you?
Well, to answer your question, they're both fun and they're both international.
Well, and they both had you.
The only difference is we're still going on.
Yes. Well, Studio 54, I mean, I guess it spawned many imitators, but were you there for the last great gasp of disco?
I was there for opening night, which was really quite something. And every night was like theater. And so when Warhol said, you know, everyone gets their 15 minutes, a lot of those 15 minutes were at 54.
So before we get into the film festival, I just, you know, come on, every gay man has a disco story, so I'll you know, confess. Talk about some of the famous 15 minutes you saw at Studio 54.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it just was a magnet for anyone that was in New York, that was from around the world. They had to go. And the fact that you couldn't get in, and this whole thing about velvet ropes and headsets.
It started there.
That's where it started. But every night was different, and it was great theater, and it was a great bar. And it would go on and on and on, and whether it be Halloween, which seemed like almost every day of the year, people would, on particular Halloween, I'm leaving, it's 3:30 in the morning, and there is a naked woman that's on a white horse that's being escorted in, Lady Godiva herself.
Yeah.
I mean, every night there was something going on, and Rubel and Schrager really did a good job, and Schrager has a little bit of that in his hotels today.
Well, of course. Now, what was your official involvement with Studio 54?
Oh, other than just a patron. Mm-hmm. Right, I didn't have anything to do with Rubel or Schrager.
But you saw them all. You saw them all.
Oh, they were all there, and there's wonderful coffee table books that are on the subject.
Yeah.
But New York is a great place, and it was, you know, I learned a few tricks there, and it was fun to come out to California, and now to kind of get into this 19-year-old film festival. It's great.
So that's a great segue. What did you bring of New York to Sonoma? You know, I know a lot of New Yorkers.
Right.
I spent a lot of time there in college, and some
Yep.
New Yorkers come to California and like, well, it just isn't exciting.
Yes, I think, you know, having worked, I was involved in the cable business when I was back there as an independent producer. So you learn how to find talent. And I think the film festival is the same way. When we were setting off, I mean, it was an excuse for a group of us to have a big party on Saturday night and show really a lot of mediocre films. And it took a while to get industry contacts, and it took a while to get corporate sponsors. And along the way, in spite of ourselves, we're doing a pretty good job.
Why Sonoma?
Well, it was after Manhattan, my wife and I, we moved out here and got into a whole different thing. I'm a partner of a restaurant in San Francisco. I'm a partner of a winery. We made a lifestyle change.
Right.
And, you know, I might live 10 minutes longer as a result. And I love New York and continue to go back there. And my contacts in New York have helped me with corporate sponsorship, have helped me as far as introductions to actors, filmmakers. So all this is coming now, you know, on our 19th year. We have 106 films. 55 of them are full-length feature films. We have 6 short programs. We have a lot of variety. We have wonderful LGBT films. We have health and wellness. We have sports action. We have ecology. We have sheer entertainment.
Right. You know, there was a time when people said, unless it's taking place in or around Hollywood or in and around the people from Hollywood, you know, people weren't really interested. I mean, but Northern California, I mean, whether it's, you know, from Coppola, Chris Columbus, George Lucas, I mean,
right.
Northern California is established now as a film destination.
We are known as one of the country's top 10 destination film festivals. Mm-hmm. So that's heady company. I mean, you're there with Telluride and Santa Barbara and Palm Springs. And so I don't know whether we have that reputation like some of those films or film festivals do, but we're starting to, and we see that by the fact that more corporate sponsors want to be associated with us.
You know, it's just a pity you don't have a lot of energy. How do you keep it after 19 years?
Oh, it's enjoyable. I've always enjoyed films. I think we do it primarily for our community. However, we get a great representation from people that come. And 60% of the people that attend our festival are from San Francisco to Santa Rosa. The other 40% are LA, Dallas, Chicago, and New York. And we roughly get 4,000 people that will come between Wednesday and Sunday. And that's really about as many as we can take because we only have a certain amount of screening venues, which are all walkable around Sonoma Plaza. But also, there's no other place to put them. I mean, Napa's got tons of hotels. Sonoma doesn't.
Right.
So, you know, thank
But that
goodness.
gives it a certain ambiance. I mean, it doesn't make it the craziness of a Sundance or a Telluride or something like that.
And also our community is extremely helpful. So we have a lot of people that will donate their beautiful guest houses that are on these wine estates. And our lodging partners give us as many rooms as they come. But Sonoma used to be cyclical. Or seasonal, right? And now it's really come year-round, and as a result, people want to come up there all the time.
Right.
And so Sonoma's known for already food and wine, so we're just throwing the film thing
Well, I
on
mean,
top
it's
of it.
a natural pairing. We've got a few minutes left. Talk to me about your favorites. I know that's hard as a director, so these are my favorites for this year.
Well,
but
you
some
know,
stuff that
I
really
kind of wanted to address the
stands out.
LGBT because
Yeah.
I know that, and every year we have wonderful films. And this year, there was a gentleman, a costume and designer during the 30s and 40s named John Ori Kelly, and he was an Aussie. And he was openly gay, which was very brave. And also, he was a Cary Grant's roommate. And it was...
Roommate.
Yes. And it's absolutely a wonderful film, and the footage that we have is terrific. Another film we have is called Viva. It was Ireland's submission to the Oscars, and it made it into the top 9. It didn't eventually get to the 5, but it is about drag queens that are in Cuba, and the footage is absolutely fantastic.
And this is an Irish filmmaker.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Right. And we have another film that's called Stealth, and it's done by a young filmmaker, and it's about a transgender in high school. So out of our films, of which we have 55 feature-length films, we have good representation and really in all areas.
Yeah, you know, you've talked about some of the LGBT highlights of this year's festival. Over the years, how have you watched the content of those LGBT films change? I mean, for instance, for a while it seemed like any gay film was being made was about AIDS.
And I think a lot of those films at the beginning were kind of like the story of the typical person coming out of the closet and all the having to deal with their family and friends. And it was almost a little rhetorical as far as the storylines go. Today the storylines are a lot more interesting. You know, it's your type of life. It's people categorized as LGBT. But it's the world today.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, if we hadn't had all the advances in same-sex marriage, you wouldn't have room for a transgender teen telling their story.
Right, no question about it. Or you wouldn't have an Oscar submission like Viva. And so I encourage people, for like your viewers, to come. They'll have a wonderful time. It's 5 days. It's all walkable to Sonoma Plaza. You'll certainly get enough to eat and drink. And every night we have a different theme. Like we have a Cuba night on Thursday, so it's Hemingway and Havana. And we have a world band and people rolling cigars and rum being served. And Friday is Gypsy Tramps and Thieves. And we have a wonderful gypsy jazz band that's coming up. And on Saturday, it's Old Hollywood. And Roberto Donet, who's a recording artist, is going to come to sing, and it's swing and it's standards. And so we have a little bit of everything for everyone.
Got 30 seconds left. Tell me what you're going to do for your 20th. I mean, that's going to be the big anniversary.
Oh, it's a milestone. I think one thing we're looking forward to doing is all the people that we've honored over these years, we're going to invite them back and Fenton honor them. As we are Fenton honoring Meg Ryan, the first time this year, she has a film called Ithaca, and she acts in it, but it's also her directorial debut. And it's absolutely a terrific film. And that's on Thursday, and afterwards we're going to give her our top festival award. And Robert Kamen, another person that lives here, and he started off doing a small film called Taps, and then did Karate Kid and The Fifth Element, and all the Transporters and Taken.
I look forward to seeing that because I remember Taps vividly. I went to military school. It changed my life. Thanks, Kevin,
This
for
has been a
speaking
joy. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Looking forward to the festival. I'm David Perry. Thanks for watching 10%. We'll see you here next week.